Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, light warriors, old souls, evolving beings. Your tagline: anytime you get nervous or stressed, just repeat those words in your mind. November is unbelievably packed, from the fact of all the energies that are going on to the emotional upheavals that are going to continue through the US elections as we continue to integrate all of our light bodies, and how to remain sane and even evolve further in realizing the tendencies that we have that can hold us back in the ascension process. So, all of these messages, as I'm giving to you, are just to help you put things in perspective and understand that you truly are not alone. Your star family is with you. All of us are joined unconsciously together as we unite in this consciousness evolvement. And some of these tips really are asking you to be honest with yourself and laugh at yourself. Have fun with the behaviors that we have picked up in the matrix. In some ways, it's not really our fault. It's psychological, MK Ultra, and other types of programming from our parents, from our loved ones, from friends, because we've put ourselves in these situations mostly to learn and to evolve. But we didn't know that at the time. So we tend to carry psychological issues, reactions, emotional responses based on how we have been programmed, trained, and not conditionally loved. Because when one is aligned with Source, when one is aligned in flow, what happens is your trust and your grounding comes from something much higher than what's happening with the people around you. So today I want to start with a topic. I don't know if you've heard the phrase helicopter parenting, but it's something where a parent is completely overprotective and so involved in their children's life that it really is to the detriment of the kids because the parent is controlling everything. Now, the point is, helicopter, quote, parenting doesn't just happen with moms or dads. It can happen with family members. It can happen with friends. And the most unbelievable part is you can actually helicopter parent yourself, which is not healthy. So there's a difference between being involved with your children's lives, watching over them, and making sure they're okay. The same for yourself. There are times that you strategically do need to plan. However, you will find the further you go in the ascension process, the more you are able to go with the flow. And it's as if you can't plan for anything because universe is bringing you what you need. But let's go back to the concept of helicopter parenting. The reason it started and the reason we do it to ourselves and to others is because there probably is a part of you that is A, I want to make my kids' life better. B, this is a difficult world to live in. I don't want anything to happen to them. I don't want them to fall under the influence of certain things. And C, it could be their own psychological programming where you were treated this way and therefore you turned out reasonably okay, so you're going to do it twice as much to those around you. It can honestly happen at any age. It can happen at any stage. And the most important thing is to get to the point where you realize when you're doing this to others and when you're doing this to yourself. And one of the biggest reasons that people fall into needing to have control is because of fear. Now, all of my early messages about a year ago are pretty much timeless. Again, they're organized in order, and they are to help you overcome fear, because fear is one of the biggest reasons that people need to have control. They think that if they can control the outcome, if they can control every second, if they can control everything around them, the world is going to be okay and they'll feel comfortable, and therefore they'll let go of fear. It's really where OCD comes from. If you do something 3 times in a row, each time, and the outcome is positive, then what you find is you get some relief from it. But what happens is it then extends out further and further and further, and you're no longer actually controlling the issue. The issue is controlling you. So control is something we call, as psychologists, a defense mechanism. And it's a defense mechanism against being vulnerable, abandoned, anxiety-ridden. There are all these reasons why people feel as though if they can control something, there will be no problem in their day-to-day living. Another reason for control issues is truly just low self-esteem. And what happens is you need to compensate for what you feel is something you didn't do so well. So a case example would be, let's say you were a beautiful mom, single mom, who was in Africa with very few financial resources. And you determine that you will never, ever, ever let your children have to go through the things that you went through. Now, there is the specific part of, yes, wanting to help your children have access to things you did not have access to is completely healthy. But controlling every behavior, everything they bring to school, every piece of homework, everything that they eat, everything that they do is overstepping. And when you do that, what happens is, first of all, it puts unbelievable amounts of stress on you, because not only are you trying to manage your own life, but now you're micromanaging everybody around you. And it's detrimental to the children, because what happens is they are not then able to create a sense of self and growth. Why this is so important during an ascension period like we are going through right now is, in enlightenment, bringing in the light codes, bringing in the higher self, communing with the oversoul, communing with source. If you are trying to control everything that's going on, you will be so busy controlling things that you won't be able to meditate or rest or allow your spirit and soul to find what really makes you happy. Because it's like you'll have a checklist that says, oh, in order to be happy, then I have to find joy. Okay, let me go try painting. Okay, well, let me go try this. Let me go try that. And each time, because you're so structured in what you're requiring of yourself, you won't let yourself just sit back and relax and enjoy the moment of the experience of creating, of being, or of doing nothing, but simply enjoying a view. So, letting go of control is also what heals you. It truly is part of your shadow side. It is connected to the matrix. The minute that you can start to let go of that, you are going to go with the flow. You are going to let light enter you. You are going to stop judging yourself and judging others' ability to care for themselves. Believe it or not, in the coming days, after the age of 8 and on, people are on the soul level in control of their own destiny. You cannot force, push, or change anyone under that age at this point of where we are in Ascension. You are actually not here to heal, repair, save, control any of those things to another being. You are here to do it for your own soul growth and purpose. And when you have that purpose strongly defined and have the flow and are able to love unconditionally and compassionately to all, even those that have harmed you, then you are so able to help others without taking on the burden of saving. Please go back and listen to my video about saving yourself first, which is not narcissistic. Now, another reason many people have control issues is because of past trauma. They've had something that has happened, or multiple things, many things that have happened, that has affected their environment. And because of that, they can't imagine being able to move forward without holding on and resolving and putting in order all of the past trauma. Now, I'm going to do a message on this totally on its own because there's so much involved in that. And if you're a starseed or a light worker, the chances that you have been exposed to astronomical amount of pain, whether it's physically, whether it's abuse in any form, emotional, sexual, all of the above. You underwent all of those things in order for you to grow. Now, it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem right. But there are ways now to let it go permanently. And I also want to share with you, if you are at a point where you seem to be forgetting things, like even simple things, words, or unfortunately you have a pot on the stove, or whatever it may be, do not automatically assume that you are losing your mind. Part of what is going to happen to our memories is, in a sense, they're just going to be removed. There are certain things that you just simply do not need to remember. Yes, you need to remember the pot is on the stove and turn the stove off. Set a clock, a timer, whatever you need to do. Understanding that your mind and your soul are getting disconnected, and your soul is actually guiding you to what it is that will really make you happy, really make you thrive. That's what part of Ascension is. So what happens is some of the old stored memories that you have are going to literally just go away. So I will talk about this in another video because I want to make sure that I absolutely give it enough time. A whole other reason for control issues is perfectionism. Some people actually think that if they control things around them and they can achieve the highest standards, remember, these highest standards are in their mind. They are part of the matrix. They are part of the control system. They are part of how we've been programmed. But people believe that if they can perfectly go through each of these various steps, I did 1 through 10 on the Ascension list, then they feel as though everything will be okay and they will perfectly achieve it, and all of a sudden, poof, you're ascended. Well, hate to tell you, the growth process is so very different than how we've been programmed. And in order to be able to be compassionate in a world where you see everything falling apart, everything turning out the opposite of what you expected, what happens is, of course, fear and anxiety are going to step in, but you have to tackle that right away in your mind. No, I will not let this get me. I don't care what the US election results are. I don't care what they're telling me on news, which most likely the news that is being programmed, that is coming out at this moment, is old footage. It's not even real footage. So you go, you do your research if it's that important to you, you find out some of the truths, you put that to the side, you go into your heart, and you allow yourself to be one with the universe and tell yourself you no longer need to control the outcome of everything that's going on in the world. You only need to control, quote unquote, to pay attention to your mind long enough to see what it might be thinking, to then let it go and drop into your heart. Because with all of the systems changing to try to control any outcome or think that absolutely everything that you do on a practical, manifest, day-to-day level is going to get you to ascend, you are lying to yourself. Only the heart and the light body and letting go of programming is going to get you, quote, the ascension mastery skills that are needed. And that means letting go. And that is hard, but it's letting go of everything, letting go of attachments, whether it's to people or things or whatever it may be, emotional concepts that you thought were right. That old saying, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Now, there are some eternal truths. Your heart is going to guide you when you can get the muck in your brain out of your brain so that you can drop back into your heart. And again, that's the purpose of meditation. That's the purpose of just sitting in silence. That's the purpose of practicing gratitude. If you listen to my old videos, again, I don't count meditation necessarily as having to sit in one position with hands formed in a certain way uncomfortably for 3 hours and therefore you've meditated. No, it could be drumming. It could be listening to music. It could be whatever it is that gets you out of those repeating thoughts. You know, like a record getting stuck on the same loop. Oh, that shows you how old I am, record. Loop over and over and over again. You want to let that go. Anything that has to do with control has to do with judgment. What you're doing is you're judging yourself, you're judging others. And that serves no purpose. Absolutely no purpose. So the whole point right now is we're very fortunate that we have come so far. You may not see it, but again, it's all about helping you understand The new Earth grids are anchored. That means you want to think that truth is hovering right over you. Truth is right there. All you have to do is reach up with your heart and just pretend, even if you don't believe it's real, just pretend that you are grabbing up and reaching up to the highest and best, to truth, to source, and that you are going to look and watch for the synchronicities, and you are going to work on not being so hard on yourself, not thinking that you really should know exactly how this whole ascension thing works, but be open to the fact that it absolutely is happening. And if you are ready to exit, quote, the 3D type lifestyle, because that's the only place control issues can remain, you have the right to stay there. But I highly recommend trying to work on yourself and letting go of those issues, because they just will not serve you. They will cause you stress, fear, anxiety, addiction, you name it. Whereas the minute you were able to pull into yourself and go with the flow, asking for help from your guides, asking for help where you need it, again, with somebody who is open-minded to this information, you are going to make so much more progress. And again, it has been promised, as we really just do a little attempt, you will get so much more back, and you will be guided as to what direction to go. Or maybe you're flipping through channels and all of a sudden something shows up and it's exactly the message that you needed for the day. So honestly, think about whether or not you're doing this to others and or you're doing it to yourself, and see what it is that you can do to be your own healer. Because in the end, we each have to do it for ourselves. And we are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. So rely on that strength. Rely on the fact that you actually really do have this. And stop letting your mind and ego control you. All right, well, I always forget to say, but if you like this message, hit like, subscribe. I'm so happy to be here, to have internet, and to get through this November month with you, because we are doing it, guys. Lightworkers, we really are making progress. So I just want to keep you in the flow, ignore what you see happening in the news, and send you so much love. Love you.